Hey, welcome to the Trumpet Live. I'm so glad that y'all can jump into the room. Please, thank you so much for joining me on this. It's the sixth edition of the Book of Jubilees. We're going over chapter 6 of the Book of Jubilees. People are just starting to get in. I just hit the button and I can see the room starting to click in. Somebody give me a thumbs up and tell me that this audio is coming through okay. Yes. All right. All right. I love it. All right. I'm finally here. You are Georgia Peaches. Yeehaw! Everybody. I love Georgia Peaches. You know what? My wife just got a big old thing of peaches. Tell me that I'm coming through clear. Somebody give me a thumbs up. Yeah, I see a thumbs up right there. Bam, 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 bam. That's the Babylonian calendar. It's those dudes that did everything. They are the ones that we messed up the calendar. That and we messed up nothing. I didn't do nothing. The Jewish leaders that were adopted the Babylonian calendar. That's what this Jubilees chapter 6 is all about. It is about the Babylonians and their 354-day calendar, and it says right there, y'all know on the about the third or fourth page of the study guide, it says that they will err in their ways and they will go wrong by 10 days. I mean, the book of Jubilees was written by an angel and handed by God and handed by to Moses. And he got that on Mount Sinai before all of this stuff went into effect and was told exactly how the days were supposed to lay out. And Noah was also told exactly how these things were supposed to lay out too. And it's just really interesting to read some of these things where they had just started out and they adopted these calendars that we know today. And one of the things that was in their calendar, they were all, this is the moon god's sin right here. And you can see that's on top of the Dome of the Rock. They've allowed those people to put that moon god sin. That's the little eye in the middle of the sun right there. This Babylonian guys right here. And all of this means sin. When you see that curved thing right there, but that's going to be what they were recognizing the lunar months. And it makes so much sense to count why the sun would come up over the edge. I mean, we're getting ready to find out what they did wrong with the calendar. And this is just such a great lesson. I love this one, and I've got these study guides already down here. You know what? It's so cool. Some of the things they've done with the calendar and what they divided it, this Babylonian calendar, they divided it by 12 months, and you just can't do that. It says real clear in there exactly how to divide the weeks and the months, and we're going to start out in chapter 6, just me in Jubilees. So I want y'all to pick that up, chapter 6, Jubilees. If you don't have the study guide, go to my link tree in my bio page and click on my link tree in my bio page, and you can download the study guide and you can read right along with us. And right inside the study guide, it'll break down all the things that we're supposed to be reading. That's page 7, chapter 7. And there's the beginning of chapter 6 of the book of Jubilees. So again, that's in my link tree and my bio page, and you click on that and download it, and you read right along with us. I certainly appreciate all of y'all joining in, and thank you so much. We've had such a great success. And at the end of this, I want to do a little stay over, and I've got a special subject that we want to talk about. That's the it's sort of Revelation 20 thing, and about is it pre-trib or post-trib? There was a lot of questions in there, and that book of Gad that I had. This book of Gad, it answered some of those questions for me, and it tells you about what book you might be in. If you're in that real cool book that they open first, boom, you're going to go bow right off the bat. That's a twinkling of an eye thing right there. Hey, well, I think we've got enough people in the room, and I'm going to start this lesson. This is how, as soon as Noah got off of the ark, this is what he made atonement, and the first thing that he did was built an altar, and then thank you so much for the gift. And Gigi, she's my moderator. That's my wife. And we also got I gotta think of my other moderator name. There's Gigi in there. She's gonna click. She's right there. Saw that. Ashley, I think. All right. So let me start up here at the beginning, and we're gonna go with Noah. And he went forth from the ark and made atonement. I'm gonna drop these headphones off of here because they'll make me stop. I ought to keep them on there if Arlo comes in here. far as I can tell, when you start mingling things with oil, it's almost like you're having a fry. And he's cooked with the fat, and they've made that, the oil is, some of it's made from fat. And I think some of these things that he's almost like cooking, and a seasoning that he's put on it. It shows that he's put salt in there. And I have some frankincense. I think it's crazy. I think I'm going to throw it in the fire and see what I don't want to maybe taste it or not. But you see him put it in all kinds of stuff. So we're reading right down here, and I'm going to keep going. And Yahweh smelt the goodly savor. And is that good? I can't get out of the way. I'm so sorry. And Yahweh smelt the goodly savor. And he made a covenant with him that there should not be any more flood to destroy the earth, that all the days of the earth, seed time and harvest should never cease. Cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night should not change their order nor cease forever. That's it right there, right behind. And you increase you, and multiply upon the earth, and become many upon it, and be blessed upon it. The fear of you and the dread of you, I will inspire everything that is on the earth. I will inspire in everything that is on the earth. The fear of you and the dread of you, I will inspire on everything that is on the earth. The fear of you, right there. Oh my gosh. I've walked up to some things that wasn't scared of me a bit, so I don't know how we've got that one. We probably went errant in our ways, but I guarantee you I've run up against some things. Thank you so much for y'all being in this room. And I'm sorry, I tried to take these pictures and get out of the way, but this is not a cool thing where I can move my complete body out of the way, so I have to jump around and it takes me out of the audio. But if y'all print that study guide out, y'all can go along with me. And this stuff is really cool. And what I'm starting to do now is make this study guide so that whenever you do print it out, we're going to be able to tear this cover page off of it. And then we're going to make us a book of Jubilees. So from now on, I'm going to put the study questions on a separate sheet of paper, and they're all going to end like a chapter in the Bible. And I'm going to move the study questions, and we're going to just make the book of Jubilees. And we're going to print us a book of Jubilees. I'll show you how to do it. Because I print all of my books. Like when I made the book of Gad, I bind them together, and I glue them, and I'll bind them, and we'll wrap this thing with like lambskin. But this one is going to be one when people wonder how we change the days into times. I mean, it says on the next couple of pages so clearly how to keep up with time and the exact way to do it in the days. And it's 364 days, and it's exactly your birthday would have been on a Tuesday. It's always been on a Tuesday. It's just amazing. And how we got away from that, it calls it out. It says y'all are going to err by 10 days. And sure enough, man, it's like here on page 3, which sure enough we did. We went by the Babylonian calendar. Thank you so much for all the gifts. I certainly appreciate it. I'm so sad my connection is in and out. Well, you know what? I hope that it's not me, and I hope that I'm doing a good job. And we do put these on the YouTube channel. And if you go to my bio page and click on my YouTube link, it'll take you there, and all the last 5 episodes are in there. And I mean, thousands of people have seen those, and they call and talk to me about them. I love it. I'm going to read this last verse right there at the bottom. And behold, I have given unto you all beasts and all winged things, and everything that moves on the earth, and the fish in the waters, and all the things for food. As the green herbs, I have also given you things to eat. Oh, there you go. He's given everything to eat. I like it. I'm going to keep my pages straight. Yeah, rotate this. I love doing this class. This is so cool because this is the book. It's the year of Jubilees. 2025 is the Jubilee year. And I absolutely, he's building this altar. And this is that altar. There's the ark, and there's this altar. There's a dude up in the sky right there. He's like in the clouds, and there's all kinds of stuff flying around. Little building over there. There's Gustave Doré. He does these great drawings. I have a whole book full of them somewhere. But it's on my page. It is amazing, the pictures, and I love pictures. So when this Bible that we're going to build together, when you put this Bible together, it's going to have all these pictures in it, and your notes and stuff. So it's just going to be cool, man. Your kids are going to love it. And all right, we getting ready to read that. Tell you about the flesh there. You know, I got whatever that is when you can change directions or like, hey, a squirrel or something like that. I do that like all the time. And I tell you what, I got up at 3 o'clock this morning. It was almost 3:33. I got it this morning, and I was thinking about y'all, and I said, I told them people that get up and say, here I am, Lord. And you know what? I got up. You asked my wife, and I got up and I said, here I am, Lord. And I started talking to this guy, and he was in a position, and he needed some help. And I just said, it's you. It was you. And me and him had a great conversation. And funny thing is, he lives right down here in Florida by me. And I'm going to probably reach out to him and have a great conversation. I just love doing stuff like that. And I don't want y'all ever to think that I'm too good to where I couldn't talk to any of y'all. I'll be glad to get on the phone with you. I just have to clear through a couple of things, and don't think that I'm too good to talk. I've given my phone number to a bunch of people. And I'm right here in Lake Mary or Orlando, Florida, so I love all of y'all. Let's read about this. He's going to go up to this altar, and he does all these things, puts this altar on the blood. But flesh, with the life thereof, with blood, you shall not eat. For all the life of flesh is in the blood, lest the blood of your lives be required. At the hand of every man and at the hand of every beast, I will require the blood of him. Man, it says out all the way through here that if you eat things with the blood in it, it's just said the line before that, I've given you all these animals to eat, so you can eat all the animals that you want to. And it just says don't eat blood, living blood. And so don't. Adrenochrome or whatever I don't even know what that is. So I could care less. Hey, GGC. In fact, that's my wife right there. I love her so much. I tried to set all my little goals and stuff, and they tell me that I hope that I did it right. Did I do it right? Hello. Anyway. Whoso sheds man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of Yahweh made he man. That's you hear that? Kill by the sword, die by the sword. Man, Kate Nicole, that's my other moderator right there. I love it so much. She's such a sweetheart. And she had some questions this morning, and I was answering them. And I love doing that stuff. I can tell you something. And when we get into where we can talk back and forth, I can take pictures and screenshots and answer your questions so much better. And I would rather do that than somebody go down this road. None of the stuff that I'm reading in Jubilees ends up saying, hey, shake snakes or build a totem pole or something like that. It's really the book of Jubilees, the book of Genesis and part of the book of Exodus. And it's just got more names and receipts in it, man. I love it. And whosoever sheds that blood, it says, he who kills by the sword dies by the sword. That's David. David died of old age. But David killed with a sword. And you increase you and multiply on the earth. Hey, I got my cowboy hat. You know what? I've got a goal. And if I get to that goal, it's like going to do something. And then my wife's going to come in here and tell me I got to do something. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do. But I'm going to do it. If we get 333 people in here, that's my number, man. I'm going to run with it. That's 333 people. I just love it. And Noah and his son swore that they would not eat. It's pushing right there. Noah and his sons swore that they would not eat any blood that was in any flesh, and he made a covenant before Yahweh forever throughout all the generations of the earth in this month. Well, they break that in just right here in a couple of lines. Hey, read right there and not get up to where. And on this account, he spoke to you that you should make a covenant with the children of Israel in this month upon the mountain with an oath. And that you should sprinkle blood upon them because of all the words of the covenant, which Yahweh made with them forever. And this testimony is written concerning you, that you should observe it continually, so that you should not eat on any day any blood of beast or birds or cattle during all the days of the earth. And the man who eats the blood of beast or of a cattle or of birds during all the days of the earth, he and his seed shall be rooted out of the land. Okay. I I got no problem with that, man. You're going to sit there and eat dead. I mean, not a dead thing. You're going to eat something alive? Wacko, wacko, wacko. I don't know. That's not even in the conversation. I'm going to be reading down here. But I just get my head out of the way. Oh, that is just amazing. 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 Amazing grace. Where am I reading? And this testimony is written concerning you, that you should observe it continually, so that you do not eat on any day. I just read that because that's Bujade. And do you command the children of Israel to eat no blood, so that their names and their seeds may be before Yahweh, our sovereign ruler, continually? No. And for this Torah, there is no limit of days, for it is forever. That's Melchizedek, man. That verse where it says he has no beginning of days or no end of days. It doesn't call him Melchizedek in the book of Jubilees. It says for this Torah, there is no end of days. And there is no limit of his days, and that is the Word, and the Word is Jesus Christ, and that is Melchizedek, and he's the one pulling all the strings. Bow, bow, bow. Get that back up to 333. Bow. And there's no limit of these days. They shall observe throughout their generations, so that they may continue supplication on your behalf with blood before the altar. Every day at the time of the morning and evening, they shall seek forgiveness on your behalf perpetually before Yahweh, that they may keep it and not be rooted out. I'm going to tell you something. Say your prayers in the morning, say your prayers in the afternoon, and always have that respect, and we've lost that. It says right here, that's like on the next page. Yeah, they lost it. And that's the next line. And he gave to Noah and his sons a sign that there should not be a flood again on the earth, after they made a covenant, they made a deal. And it's to set his bow in the cloud for a sign with the eternal covenant, that it should not again flood the earth, to destroy it all the days of the earth. I always put the book of Genesis side by side comparison in here, but I'm going to tell you something. It literally, these read just bam, bam, bam. And it's almost confusing to have that much of saying it twice. I read the book of Gad, and this guy, he put so many references in it that justify all the verses. It's just almost you lose it. So I just want you to know that this reads, there's a rainbow, there won't make it flood again, his covenant that he's signed and all that stuff. And it's just got some extra receipts into there that I really appreciate. So here's what I'm telling you. They right here. I had some pictures of that. Hang on one second. I'm going to show you that. Yeah, he's crazy. See that dude up in the clouds? And then they're all down here by the altar. And then he's making an altar. There's a building. And then all these things, these are in these drawings. There's this guy's up here. This is crazy. What is that? That's in that picture right there. They're at that altar, and there's the ark. You can zoom into that. They could be birds and all that stuff. Some double wacko animals like that. Look at that. Look at that thing. I don't know what kind of animal that is. You see that coming out of the water, you're going, what? And then this is like a lion fish. No pun intended. These things are weird. He says the first thing he made was sea monsters. That was in like class 1. I loved it. We had to go back. We had to go back to the study. Where? Am I on that page? No, I'm not. And this one. And do it. 7? In the flesh man. This is whoever it is. That's 17. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. We're right here. I told you. And they did bad. And they ate blood. I love that gift. I love all of the things that y'all do. I love every one of y'all. I tell you what, I sure do. And I woke up this morning and said, here I am, Lord. It's hard to wake you up. So you remember that, man. You got to shake people, even little kids, you got to shake them. And for something to wake you up in the morning, you better get up and just say, hey, what's going on? What can I do? And pick up that study guide and read some of this, and it'll all start to make sense. It'll all come to you. I figured out how to get my head out of the way. I got to do is tilt my head right there. I'm going to show you what this picture is. So before I get in front of it, and these are the animals getting on the ark, and it's sort of right there. Start right there. I am. For this reason, it is ordained and written on the heavenly tablets that they should celebrate the Feast of Weeks in this month once a year to renew the covenant every year. Bam. Battle. And this whole festival was celebrated in heaven from the day of creation till the days of Noah. 26 jubilees and 5 weeks of years. And it gives this number of the date of after man was created. And Noah and his sons observed it for 7 jubilees and 1 week of years. And a jubilee is 50 years, so 7 of them is that 350 right there. So a jubilee, this is the jubilee year. I'll tell you what, it's a jubilee year. It's in periods of 50. This is the 40th jubilee since Christ died. Bad things happen in 40s. I don't want to say I don't like something. But bad things happen in 40s. We all know that. We do. And King David ruled for 40 years. King Saul ruled for 40 years. King Solomon ruled for 40 years. And then, I don't know, something about the 40, those guys just aren't doing right. And we've been 40 jubilees past the crucifixion of Christ, and that's times 50, so that's 2,000. It's 2,000 years past the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Know that. And if you count that in Jubilees years, then there's my 333 number. We're making it. And if you count in the book of Jubilees, we're going to go in the book of Revelation, chapter 20. We'll go over that into class, chapter 20, where it says the first resurrection is 1,000 years, and the second death is not affected by the first resurrection, and that's 1,000 years. And that's 2,000 years ago, and this was 2,000 years we're talking about. So just know that a Jubilee year is 50 years, and we're 2,000 years past the day that Jesus Christ, and it is the Jubilee year of the 2000th year. It's the year of Jubilee means the year of announcements, and it's the year of the announcement is the trumpet. And I got the trumpet. I do that. I love being a trumpet. I love that. He said you'll be given a new name. I have a card that says the trumpet, and you know what? That's my new name. And I was given a new name, and I'm more blessed now than I ever was. I used to be very, very wealthy. I say very, very wealthy. You know what? There's some people that are very, very wealthy. But, man, I can't stand money anymore. I sure can't. And I'm more wealthy with y'all than anything. And if I could tell you how much it's worth to just get up and, we must have been able to extend the subscriptions. Y'all must have made my goal to do that. Gigi said she's going to pin some comments up there. And that means she can give some subscriptions. There's been some people. And Gigi, that girl that we saw, the comedian, she said she was going to start her job. And as soon as she was, I want you to send her one. This tells you exactly how to divide a year perfectly. I mean, it's 26 jubilees. Noah and his sons observed it for 7 jubilees and 1 jubilee year, 350, till the days of Noah's death. And, well, that's where Daddy died. And from the day of Noah's death, his sons did away with it until the days of Abraham, and they did eat blood. And they eat blood. I put the did in there. But Abraham observed it, and Isaac and Jacob and his children observed it up to your days. Now, he's talking to Moses. This is God talking to Moses on the mountain. So he's up to your days. And you ought to listen to it. During this conversation, he is a part of it. So listening through this is God having a conversation with Moses. And Israel forgot it until you celebrated it anew on this mountain. And do you command the children of Israel to observe it, this festival, in all their generations for a commandment unto them? One day in the year, in this month, they shall celebrate this festival. For it is the feast of weeks and the feast of the first fruits. This feast is twofold and of a double nature, according to what is written and engraved concerning it, to celebrate it. You know, it's not asking too much. I tell you what, if you want to read you ever read like the last chapter of a book, see what the end is about? The end of the book of Jubilees pretty much tells you that if you do anything, you need to celebrate the Sabbath and respect the Sabbath and respect the process and that day of Sabbath. That's a big day, man. He created the whole world and then rested on the Sabbath. And he's telling you that you should be working in him and doing your thing and spreading that vibe. And on the seventh day, you need to rest and rest in him. And before you go rest, don't aggravate yourself on that day of rest, man. They had to go out and pick on Friday. No, I guess it was Friday. The day before their Sabbath, my Saturday. And that's because Sabbath means that to me. But they would go out on Friday and pick 2 days worth of food up so that they didn't have to do anything on Saturday, their Sabbath. And that's what you should do is, even if you order takeouts, order 2 meals so that you don't got to do nothing on the Sabbath. And you should chill out and read my study guide. And I get on and go live. I'll try to do that. This Saturday, I will be in Washington, D.C. I'll be right in the middle of that Bible museum and probably in the Washington Mall. I am going to go live there. I'll tell you what, I'm going to blow that up. I can't wait to go there. The pictures that I'm going to come back from New York, Washington, D.C., I'm going to kill it. Kill it. They got a big old Jacob stone stacked right there in the front of the Bible museum. We'll kick that over. And 22, where I'm at. I'm right there. I will not kick over that. It's a stack stone. He was not supposed to do it. For I have written in the book of the first Torah, in what I have written for you, that you should celebrate it for in its season, one day of the year, and I explained to you its sacrifices, that the children of Israel should remember that you should celebrate it throughout the generations in this month, one day every year. And if you tell me I just read that, that's because y'all are smarter than me. And on the new moon of the first month, and on the new moon of the fourth month, and on the new moon of the seventh month, and on the new moon of the 10th month are the days of remembrance. In just a minute, he tells you that what he did on those new moons. And it's cool. And it's 4 seasons. So you watch this thing break up, and on the next page, I'm going to tell you, it's the 4 seasons and what he did and how it breaks into 52 weeks and 7 days and 364, and it ain't got nothing to do with 12 months that are lunar activated. It has to do with counting the big yellow ball that comes up over the edge of the horizon or wherever you think that big yellow thing comes from. That's not part of my class, is to tell you about the big yellow thing in the sky. And so it says on that in the new moon and all this stuff, and these are written in testimony forever. And Noah ordained them for himself as feasts for the generations forever, so that they have become thereby a memorial unto him. And on the new moon of the first month, he was bidden to make the ark for himself. See, I told you it's going to explain those 4 things. And on that day, the earth became dry, and he opened the ark and saw the earth. Ooh, all right, we're going to go to the next page. And he's going to break it down for us right here. I left that because that looks like the watch that you have right there, and you're going to just see how wrong that's Babylonian calendar with their little 12 months, and that's what's wrong with us right now. That thing right there. They came back from Babylon, and they had Babylonian stress disorder, and they adopted their calendar and a BST something, and right here. And on the new, we're telling about the months and the 4 seasons and these 4 things that you should pick up on. And the new month of the 4th month, the mouths of the deep of the abyss were closed. And on the new month of the 7th month, all the mouths of the abyss of the earth were opened, and the waters began to descend into them. And on the new month of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen, and Noah was glad. There's the 3rd one. Right there. And on the new month of the 10th month. And on this account, he ordained them for himself as feasts for a memorial, and thus they were ordained. Right here. This, you get your calculator out, because I sure did. And they placed them on the heavenly tablets. And they placed them. We all know that in the chapter 3, these study guides right here, that we all read about what the angels were, and let us make them in our present, let us make them in our image. And right here it says, and they're talking about we, and there is no neglecting this commandment. And all of this. And they placed them on the heavenly tablets. There you go. Who's that? The angel of the presence, the angels, the Malachim that they're talking about right here. It just mentioned that word. I know, I just saw it. And they placed them on the heavenly tablets. Each had 13 weeks. Bah, bah, bah. From one to another, past their memorial. And from the first, the second, to the third, and the fourth. I didn't read that right. I read the highlighted words. And they placed them in the heavenly tablets. Each had 13 weeks. From one to another, past their memorial. From the first to the second, and from the second to the third, and from the third to the fourth. That's the 4 seasons. 4 times 13 is... what is that? 12, 52. That's right. So 4 times 13 is 52. And all the days of the commandment will be 52 weeks of days. And that's 7 days in a week, which has the 7th day as a Sabbath. And on these will make the entire year complete. Thus it is engraved and ordained in the heavenly tablets. I'm sorry. My kids have all been passing around whatever this cough is. And I do not want to take it to Washington with me. But in all the days of the commandment will be 52 weeks, and all these will make an entire year complete. This is engraved and ordained on the heavenly tablets. On the heavenly tablets is what they put in the Ark of the Covenant. So all these rules and guidelines are what stomped all of the enemies' behinds when they were out walking around with the Ark of the Covenant, because they had a copy of this guide. Now, I see there's some more people in the room. If you want the study guide, go to my bio page, and it's right there on my link tree, and it's study guide number 6. And all you got to do is print it out, click the top 3 button dots in the top, and click open in browser, and you'll be right along with us. We're getting close to the end of this thing, and it's only 2 more pages, but this explains our calendar, what we should have had and what we had, and the Sanhedrin and the Jewish people that came back from Babylon adapted the Babylonian calendar, that thing right there. And I'm going to tell you where they went wrong. I'll point it right out to you. 52. I'm not reading off of that. I cannot read off of that. I could. No. And there is no neglecting this commandment for a single year and from year to year. Well, they did. They did command it. They neglected it. And commands you, the children of Israel, that they observe the years according to this reckoning, 364 days, and these will constitute a complete year, and they will disturb this from time to time, from its days and from its feasts, for everything will fall out in them according to their testimony, and they will not leave out any day nor disturb any feast. But if they do neglect and do not observe them according to his commandment, then they will disturb all the seasons, and the years will be dislodged from the order. And they will disturb the seasons, and the years will be dislodged, and they will neglect their ordinances. Bam! Went wrong with the calendar. I'm going to click over to the next page just so that you can see they nailed it. And they're going to go wrong by 10 days. I'm going to read that right there. They are going to follow the Babylonian calendar, and they're going to go wrong by 10 days. And that's what's going to happen. My wife's giving me notes right here. I'm going to go back to my page right there. You know what's coming. They got it wrong. They got this calendar's wrong by 10 days. It's 354 days. And we all know that. And all the children of Israel will forget and will not find the path of the years, and will forget the months and the seasons and the Sabbaths, and they will go wrong as to all the orders of the years. Hello, welcome to my world. My wife says I got to reset a goal. I said it. I did it. Thanks. Said it. Okay. I'm going to manage it. I managed it. I created it. I said it. Okay. I tried to do something. I don't know what else to do. So I tried to do that, and my wife said to reset a goal, and I don't know how to do that. So I appreciate my manager says thanks. Live together. Maybe you just don't get to do it. Hey, okay. Live together. I don't want to do that. I want to go back to here. I don't want to go live together, live together. I did it. Gigi, thank you. I love y'all so much, and thank y'all for putting up with me. I do end up getting off track and off subject so much, and but it's just, I don't know. I start reading this stuff, and there's so many different other scriptures that go into it, and it just drives me nuts to not be able to tell you all the things that are around it. I can't wait to tell you what's going to happen next week on chapter 7. I already did the study guide. I don't want y'all to think I'm playing around. I did chapter 7 study guide. I got it already, and that's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, wow. 35 is where we're at. For I know from the henceforth will I declare it unto you, it is not of my own devising. For the book is written before me, and on the heavenly tablets of the division of the days is ordained, lest they forget the feast of the covenant and walk according to the feast of the Gentiles. Hello, that's us. After their error and after their ignorance. We're getting smarter day by day because we are reading this, and we are the Gentiles because if you're not a Jew, you're a Gentile. But they didn't know. They didn't know that the other books of the Bible where the kingdom is given to us. And so they will, it should put this, let me put this line there, and they will adopt the Babylonian calendar. This is before they ever even got to Babylon, okay? For there will be those who assuredly will make observations of the moon and how it disturbs the seasons and comes in from year to year, 10 days too soon. 354 days, man, Babylonian calendar. So that's what they adopted, and they got it wrong. And then they came back and they decided that they were going to chop it up and keep the 12 months of the Babylonian calendar. And it had 13 months, and it had man, you were counting by the lesser light. You're counting by the lesser light. You're counting by the moon god's sin right there. That's the moon god's sin. That's on top of the Dome of the Rock. It's on top of all little Muslim things. That's the moon god's sin. And they counted all their months and days by those months. And it's wrong. And that's why the calendar, people say, no man knows the day of the hour. Trust me, you don't know the day of the hour right now. I guarantee you don't know what the Sabbath is. Well, Constantine messed that up in 300 and something. And he moved the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday to the venerable day of sun. He changed that. And Babylonian calendars, 10 days off, and they called it. I mean, this is before that even happened, man. That was in 500 BC, and this is Moses talking to God, writing down the book of Jubilees, saying they're going to go wrong by 10 days in like 1,000 years. They're going to count the moon. And I don't know who's going to tell them to count the moon. Who's going to come up with a bright idea to go, man, don't count that big yellow ball coming up over the edge of the earth right there, or again, wherever you say it. Let's see when the moon gets dead center. No, it's super full. No, it's and I can just see how they go wrong by 10 days because you're right there. For this reason, the years will come upon them. Can y'all see that? Oh, I'm so glad that y'all can see this. For this reason, the years will, and that's why I like doing what I do, because I put it up there and you can read it for yourself, man. People go, do you think it's pre-trib or post-trib? And I'm like going, well, Jesus just said, after the tribulation of those days, it was in red ink. I mean, I don't know what to say after that. I love Jesus. And he said, and immediately after the days of those tribulations, got a after for that. For this reason, the years will come upon them when they will disturb the order, and will make an abominable day a day of testimony, and an unclean day a feast day, and they will confound all the days, and the Kodesh with the unclean, and the unclean day with the Kodesh, for they will go wrong as the months, and Sabbaths, and feasts, and jubilees. And they did. They did. They did. They did. That's what's wrong with our calendar, and they got that wrong from Babylon. And for this reason, I command and testify to you that you may testify to them. For after your death, your children will disturb them, so that they will not make the year 364 days only. And for this reason, they will go wrong. And as to the new months and seasons and Sabbaths and festivals, and they will eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh. Sorry. Bam. And we're going to go wrong. It says it right there. And we're going to get the days wrong, and we absolutely did. And that's what makes this class so wonderful, is that this was in a scroll in the Dead Sea when they found the book of Jubilees right next to the book of Genesis and the book of Exodus. And I don't know. It's a very good cross-comparison story. I love it to death. And I got no problems with the things that I just read. So they, in the book of Jubilees, what we just studied and what we just read was that they will go wrong and not use a 364-day calendar. And they did. And they used a Babylonian calendar, which it looks like this right here. That's the Babylonian calendar, and they divided it by 12 months, and it just don't work, man. 52 weeks times 7 days is the right number, and it's 13 weeks in each one of the seasons, and that's 52 weeks, and then 52 weeks times 7 days. And the east of the Jubilee on the seventh day is the Sabbath. Man, that's just such simple math. And if you went by that calendar, again, man, I was, born on a Saturday, then you're born on a Saturday every year. All the days fall in a line. You're the Saturday guy, And so I actually wasn't born on a Saturday. I was born on a Friday. And my mama was watching some people line up for the parade, the Thanksgiving Day parade. I was born like right before Thanksgiving, and right after Thanksgiving. My mama thought her stomach hurt. I was almost a water birth, and but she went to the hospital and had a baby and named me after something off of the TV. Named me after Gregory Peck. Went to the hospital, didn't even have a name for me, man. Who does that? My brother, he's named Fred. That's something you name a rock. My dad's name was Fred, so he got that from that rock. And I know she was watching the commercials, and Gregory Peck decides to come across the screen, and she goes, "Oh, Gregory." I'm like, man, you just killed yourself over that when you had like 9 months to come up with something. My dad said he was going to name me after one of his teachers, and it was the weirdest name. I told him, I said, I'd have dug you up, boy, over that one. Bomba or something like that. I was like, that's not even, how do you get that? So let me tell you, I got to answer the questions, and they're not terrible, but that's that calendar, and you can't divide 364 by the 12, and it just gets weird. What if that calendar, why is that calendar important? Why is that one on the screen important? Because that's what they did. They had 12 months, and they had to put 30 days in here and 28 days in here and 31 days in here, and they just couldn't make it work with their 12 little moon gods that they were trying to worship and pay homage to, and it's not like that. So this is what you see on your clock face, and this is just a way that they took their calendar and had it divided by 12. And it just don't work, man. It'd have to be like 28 spaces between this one and 31 and that one. So it's just a wrong thing to do. I was just showing that. All right, what am I going to do? I'm going to show you what. Pow. The next chapter that we are going to go over is when Noah planted a vine, and that is just insane. When Noah planted the vine and the nakedness of his son, and the vineyard grew and all that stuff. And I'm going to tell you something that is, remember it said that Canaan saw his father naked. I want y'all to keep in mind that this verse right here is in Leviticus. This one. The nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover, for it is thy father's nakedness. You need to read that whenever you start reading that Jubilees chapter 7, and he said he uncovered his father's nakedness, and you need to know he's talking about his wife. And the nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness. I don't want to break anybody's heart with that. But no, that's in Leviticus 18:8. And then that one right there, Leviticus 20:11, is this one. And the man that lieth with his father's wife hath uncovered his father's nakedness. Ding, bang, bang, bang. What? And the man that lieth with his father's wife hath uncovered his father's nakedness. And a little colon means stop right there. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. Okay, so if you wonder when Ham, his son, slept, I guess, whatever he did, when uncovered his father's nakedness, which is most likely that, he gets up and he curses the child. And he says that you'll be a servant to your brothers. Well, then he calls out the brothers and tells him of Japheth and of Shem. He goes, that's your brother. You know, that's your brother? Ow. That's your brother because that's your mother. And that was your nakedness right there. And I hate that, though. You know, it's just it's sort of a truth. And I love reading people the truth. Oh, right there. We read this about Enoch today, and this was in my last, chapter 4. I want y'all to hear this now, because this makes a big difference to me. And this is talking about Enoch, and he was the first amongst men to write. And he was taken, I can't hardly see that. And he was taken from amongst the children of men. And we conducted him into the Garden of Eden in majesty and honor. And behold, there he writes down the condemnation and judgment of the world and all the wickedness of the children of men. Okay. Enoch is in the Garden of Eden writing down the condemnation of men. Just thought you needed to know that. I got no problem with it. If you read right here in the book of Gad, that's another thing that I can't wait to talk to y'all about. Ooh, before I do that, ADD. Whenever I got my ADD, y'all leave me alone. Wow. That was where Ham went into his father's tent. You know what? I didn't edit these pictures to where I can get them to squeeze into the thing. I'm going to leave that right alone. I went over and told everybody to go buy this book of Gad. I'm going to tell you what, the book of Gad is super amazing. It tells you right here in 1 Chronicles 29:29, now the acts of David the king, first and last, behold, they are written in the books of Samuel the seer, and in the books of Nathan the prophet, and in the book of Gad the seer. This is the book of Gad the seer. This is on my Amazon page. This book costs like $9. And the reason that I'm not going to read out of the book, and I'm not going to hold it because it has a reverse on it, and I don't know how to fix that. But it will say the one verse, and then it tells you how each verse of the book of Gad cross compares to 1 Kings, 2 Chronicles, blah, blah, blah. So it's just like 3 or 4 verses that add emphasis to each verse. And it's amazing. But I do have some pieces of it that are in more of a spelled out version right here. There. That. That one. And on chapter 14 of the book of Gad is the Great Tribulation. And now I did a thing about pre-trib and post-trib. And there are still some people that are just like, hey, man, is there a rapture before the tribulation? And that was just the thing. I'm sitting there going, one says, all the tribes of earth shall mourn, and then they shall see the Son of Man coming in the sky. So I do think that everybody gets to see this tribulation, the tribulation of this earth. And do I think it's the destruction of the people on earth? No, I don't. Because what it says in this part right here, the books, it's very clear. And it says in Revelation, it says, and the books were opened. And the other books were opened. And another book was opened. I said, and the books were opened, and another book was opened. So it talks about multiple books, and literally this is reading about 3 books. And right here, during these 3 books, you were changed in the twinkling of an eye and vacuumed up. I totally get that. But we are all called before God after we see the Son of Man, then we are called up for judgment. And I know that is written in way too many places. So I don't think there's some special hit crowd that's making it there before us. And there's the 144, and right after the 144,000, then it says, who is that multitude that no man can number? And it goes, those are they that came out of the Great Tribulation. And it's a number that nobody can number. So, I'm probably in that group. But this talks about the people that are in 3 different groups. And this just makes more sense to me. And it sort of includes a little bit of your, hey, where'd Grandma go? Well, check this out. And then a man dressed in linen brought before the glory of the Lord 3 books that were contained the records of every man. And he read the first book, and it contained the just deeds of his people. And the Lord said, these are granted eternal life. Bam. And there's nothing else to say about that. That's over. That's a twinkling of an eye. And Satan said, who are these? Guilty people. And the man dressed in linen cried to Satan like a ram's horn, saying, silence, this day is holy to our Lord. And he read the second book, and it contained the unintentional sins of his people. And the Lord said, put that book aside, but save it until 1/3 of the month passes by to see what they will do. I'll tell you something. You're going to see Grandma go, pow, in the twinkling of an eye. And then you're going to be looking around, and he's going to say all the people's names that were in that book, you put it to the side, and ain't nobody going to know what it says. And then they're going to do this right here. Put that book aside and save it for 1/3 of a month. And he read the third book, and it contained the wicked deeds of his people. And the Lord said to Satan, these are your share. Take them and do what you want with them. And Satan took the wicked to a wasteland to destroy them there. You're standing in a group of people, a crowd too big to number by any man. You saw the grandma group, whap, disappear. You saw him open a book and he said, set that over there. And then all of a sudden, the other group gets taken off to a land and destroyed in front of you. Now, let's just say you're in that second book and you're given the chance to see what just happened to the grandma group and to see what just happened to the other people that were evil. And you got 1/3 of a month to fix your things. Now, I will tell you something. That's the way I sort of see it coming. There are some people that are going to get pow. But it does say very clearly, I'm going to read it for you. Talks about the millennial reign and all that. Matthew 24, verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. That's everybody. That's everybody. And then you will see the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then all the tribes of the earth shall mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. You're going to see the great tribulation. There's no heaven with power and great glory. You're going to see the great tribulation. There's no double doubt about it. I'm going to take this. Pop, pop. I liked it. Oh, I liked it. That was cool. You know what? I was going to try to flip. Pop, pop. I liked it. Oh, I liked it. That was cool. You know what? I was going to try to flip that around, but I'm not, because you know what? I'll send that thing into putting makeup on me or something like that, and y'all will just have a field day with that. I couldn't do anything. It was killing me. There. I got my page back. I know what I'm doing. And it says the books were open and another book was open. And you get to see these people taken off. You get to see 3 books opened. And you know that you're waiting. You know, let's go in. I'm about the Pope of judgment. I'll tell you what, people judge me and they sit there and go, you got a cross around your neck. I'm like going, you know what? You got a little judge's hat on over there. It's like a hood ornament on an old truck is what this is. I want you to know what's coming down the street. And, Jesus said, if I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto me. And that's what he did. He drew me unto him. You know, I appreciate y'all joining me in this class so much. And the things that we've talked about as this pre-trib and post-trib, I hope that part about the books, I hope that helped and explained the 3 books. Because one of them is the book of life of the Lamb, and it talks about that. But understand that the book of Revelation was written to the churches. It wasn't written to the individuals that, like me and you. This was written to the 7 churches. And that's something to be taken into consideration, that he's given them a warning. And in the back of Matthew right here, as it keeps going, let me move this microphone so that I can see I always pray that I'm found working. And when it says, like in the days of Noah, that the bad will be taken, that's the way that I'm seeing it. It says also that we will be here, that Jerusalem is coming, the new Jerusalem is coming here to earth. And if you read right here, to the stranger that gives meat in due season, blessed and cursed. Bear with me 1 second. Oh, I know what I flipped over. I flipped 2 pages while I was sitting there going, man, I knew that was right there on the other side. 2 women will be in the mill. Watch for the thief right here. And I knew that was right there on the other side. 2 women will be in the mill. Watch for the thief right here. And blessed is that servant whom known when his Lord, when he cometh, shall find him so doing. Right here. Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. He comes in an hour when you know not. Who then? Who then? It comes in an hour when you know not. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord hath made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season? You are in my household. You and my family and Gigi. Y'all are all in my household. And I am here to give you meat in due season. That's now. Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. You know, I ask the Lord, please, when you find me, please find me working in you. Please find me working in you. Please let me be doing something in you. I don't want to die and go to heaven. I want to be found alive. My God is the God of the living. I pray that I'm alive, working in him. I'm going to have to go to some questions, man. I'll tell you what. Gigi, I hadn't seen you yesterday, man. We appreciate you. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all give me so many topics to study and learn. And, you know, these people, they come up with 2 Thessalonians to change in the twinkling of an eye. I'm like going, yeah, man, that's that grandma group, dude. That's, you know, Samuel the seer, he goes, we do not all sleep. Then when they went to the witch of Endor, they said, why did you disturb my sleep? I'm like going, you know, I rest in him. When I go to sleep, I sleep like a baby. Ever since I became, or who I am now, I sleep like a baby. So when I get woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I know who's tapping me on the shoulder. And I gain rest out of him. So if somebody were to say, you know, 1,000 years ago, you're going to go to sleep and you're going to sleep like you do when you sleep in him right now, and that's what you're going to do for a little while, I'd be all down with that, man, because I love him. And he's got me all the time. I just want y'all to get to that point because you got to get to where you're asking him, what can I do for you? Like, hey, I want to be found working and I want to be alive. I worry a lot about the fact that I don't get the Bible as well as others, and God sees. I worry a lot the fact that I don't get the Bible as well as others, and God sees us. I can't see us has some dots. You know, I don't get the Bible. There's a lot of people that don't get the Bible. There's the people when Jesus walked up, half the time Jesus were talking to, they had no idea what he was talking about. And they were the priests and the Pharisees of the day. I mean, if you think you don't know what people are doing, the people that of the day, the preachers and the priests and the Pharisees of Jesus' day, he walked right up to them and said, who do you think the Messiah is? Who is the Christ? What think ye of him? And they said, he is the son of David. I mean, they were just lost. It wasn't, no, he's the line of David. They were just teaching those people wrong and busted them out for it. So it's going to slowly start reading that, and it'll get in and you'll start to understand it. Trust me. So should we be reading? Why do people demonize the Apocrypha so much? The people demonize the Apocrypha because the Sanhedrin told them that. And the Sanhedrin are the ones that took the Apocrypha out of the Bible. So all of the Old Testament Apocrypha was taken out by 70 dudes that a long, long time ago, right after Moses got this book and was walking through the desert and all that stuff, the people started complaining, and he said, get 70. God told him to say, go get 70 people. Well, those 70 people were the elected members of the Sanhedrin, and God to whack all of those dudes for complaining. So he terminated the Sanhedrin. And they decided to pop up right before Julius Caesar and just go, hey, man, we're the elected people. And they cut these books out of the Bible and out of what you were reading and out of circulation because they didn't jive with the Babylonian calendar that they were reading. So they were demonized because they did not reflect the Babylonian calendar, and they didn't have any argument for the people about who the watchers were. So they trashed Jubilees and Enoch. The bad thing is they were put into the Dead Sea Scrolls, and we found them in 1940s. Please pray for me. I need to get baptized, and I feel like I'm going to run out of time. I got baptized in a shower, bro. So you ain't gonna run out of time. And it's where you need to be. And I want you to go get baptized too. You can do that. And you can get somebody, and they can baptize you, and they can read. Hold on. Acts 2:38. My wife, she goes, we baptized in my family. We baptized along with Acts 2:38, and I'll never forget her saying it. I said, we can, just like that guy was from Ethiopia, and he said, hey, there's some water right there. Can you baptize me? I almost did that thing. I said, I'm not from Ethiopia. And I said, can you baptize me right there? And she was like, yeah, man. So, bam. And then I got baptized right then, and then I did, her father baptized me like months later. So, hey, I get in the shower every morning. Every morning I get in the shower and pray every morning. Hell, I went to church in Savannah, Georgia. You talk about, I was born and raised in Savannah, Georgia, and boy, I was... doggy. I got a lot of memories there. St. Patrick's Day coming up, and I tell you what, we did a lot of them. Where'd you go to church in Savannah, Georgia? I know a couple of the big ones like Savannah Christian and Calvary Baptist Day School. I went to the Calvary Baptist Day School. And what else did I do? I love it. I love Savannah. Some of my best memories in the world are about the antebellum of Savannah. I've been baptized 2 times too. That's what it sounds like. I guess they all count. And question, Mr. Trumpet. I'm trying to read this going so fast. Mr. Trumpet, can you cover the book of Enoch and the Emerald Tablets? I don't know about the Emerald Tablets so much. The books of Enoch. Enoch is the only one book. The book 2 through 5 of Enoch, they're just too fantastical for me to believe, and they were not found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Only Enoch 1 was, but it's free on my bio page if you go download it. It's right over there for free, so you can go download it. It's like 30-something pages. It's all right to read the book of Enoch. Yeah, read Enoch 1. It's actually really cool. It's Enoch 1 is Genesis 6:4 on steroids. So if you read Genesis 6:4 and talk about the Nephilim, and I think it's sort of crazy that in Genesis they decided that they were going to sum up the whole fallen angel thing and the deception of mankind and mating with the women of earth. And that's wrapped up in one verse, Genesis 6:4. And I'm like, you could write a book about that. And, Enoch, he wrote about it. A lot of people wrote about it. The book of Jubilees, man, we covered that in like chapter 2. And I guess it was too much for the people that had been released from Babylon to go, this just conflicts with what we've been telling them. We can't talk about these fallen angels, and we can't tell them all these things we've been doing wrong. This Babylonian calendar, we got these moons and all these statues, and that one's of me right there. So they had it all wrong. Let's get the trumpet to 200,000 likes. I love that. Gosh, are we close? Let's do it. I'll sit here and chatter like a chipmunk. Matthew 6:34. You know what? I'm actually right there by it. Okay. Matthew 6:34. Let's see. You called it. Gigi Pennant. 6:34. Oh, it's the last one. Take therefore no thought for tomorrow, for the morrow shall take the thought for the things of itself. Sufficient until the day is the evil thereof. Take no thought. Take therefore no thought for tomorrow, for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. You got that right. You don't have to worry about tomorrow. The birds will eat. The birds will eat. That's right there. That's a little altar. Something extra to look at. Look at these crazy little animals right here. Those are outside the ark. All right, give me another question, man. I love it. I'm going to sit here and go some of y'all's things. Ask me something. I read out of a Thompson Bible. If y'all want to, this one, I know it's in reverse. This Thompson Bible is just super cool. It's a little expensive. I think it's like $70 or $80. But about the last 3/4 of an inch is the most unbelievable maps and references. And the chain references have led me through my last couple of ticks to where it just picks up the pit and the things that I've been sort of piecing together. The chain references. These are the chain reference notes that I've made linking this whole Bible together. It's crazy how you can sit there and find the word the pit, and then you can find all the people and all the words that go to it and when they first started using it and how it changed through the Bible. That's really cool. Boom. Oh, boy, that question. I like it. I'm going to try to get some. Do you recommend the King James Bible? I do. Understand that King James didn't write a Bible. King James has a translation. He has a version of a translation. There were only a couple of translated Bibles. They translated the Bible. Wycliffe did, and a couple of people back then. And then a couple of people have versions of the Bible. Like you have the King James version, and then you have the Amplified version. And it's literally just the way people talk. So for people to say, he wrote the Bible or he changed the Bible, no, he didn't, man. That's King James' version of the Bible. And he may say, I ran down the street a little bit differently, but the gist of the whole thing is I ran down the street. And you're not really allowed to change words per se, so it's just a version. It's not a translation. And what's power? And you know what? And it says that he wrote the book of demonology, and he was a Freemason. He's all that stuff. Yeah, he was. He was all those things, but he didn't write the Bible. He just wrote a version of it, and he copywrote it. So he made a sale and a profit off of the reproduction and selling of it, and that was his major motive. He was the only one that said, my Bible's the one you got to read. So I like it because I think it's good enough to teach and rebuke off of, and I just think it's funny. You know, that's one of his words that just rattled my cage was, doesn't your law say that I call you gods? And I was like, huh? What do you mean, doesn't your law say I call you gods? And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is us talking. I mean, that's the people that wrote Leviticus. You know, the book of Genesis and Exodus say, thou shalt not kill. And then all of a sudden in Leviticus, it says you can do some things wrong and we can kill you. All right.
They want to see the photo of the axe David's court.
Oh. Do you believe in the rapture? I believe in the rapture, and rapture means extreme happiness, and rapture is also when you get caught up. So when they start to read those books, I believe you will be pulled to that group. What's that? JD Fun. I see JD in here all the time, man. I love him. He's awesome. I get some comments from him. Jesus is not his name. You've misspelled that. Your language is confounded right there. It's John 18:18. Sure is. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Let me flip right there for you. And I get that a lot. I get people to say, hey, his name was Achoo. And I'm just like, all right, hang on a sec. Where did it say? John. Says it was written over his head. There, Pilate scourged him. There, and Pilate wrote a title and put it on the cross, and the writing was, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. And then this title then read, many of the Jews, for the place where Jesus was crucified was nigh to the city, and it was written in Hebrew and Greek and Latin. I'm sorry about that. It says Jesus of Nazareth right there. So I say Jesus of Nazareth, and I had this guy come up to me, and you know, we said we talked to angels and not really known it. I had this guy walk up to me, and he was an angel, and he made sure, he goes, when you say his name, you say Jesus of Nazareth. So that's what I do, and I read that right out of that verse right there, and that's John 19:19. I thought it was 18:18. It was John 19:19, and Pilate wrote and put it on the cross, and the writing was Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. So that's what I go at. Jesus in English is Christ is Latin, and So I tell you what, we didn't even have a J. Look at my Bible. People ain't even got a J still. It's right here. This I was in Croatia. These kids come up and gave me this Bible. There's no J in this one. They what they call the first book. It says Matthew, Mark, Luke, Ivan. Matthew, Mark, Luke, Ivan. There was no J. There was no J. There was a J. It was an I, and then when they needed to pronounce the Y, they put a mark at the top of it, and that made a Y. And then when they needed to make the EU sound or the vowel sound, they put a mark at the bottom of the I, and that's when the J started, and that was in Latin, and that would have meant to sound the I as an EU sound, and it would have been Judah and Jerusalem. So just know that it's the I, and the I was 3 letters. The I was the I, the Y, and the J was the EU sound, and they put marks on top of the I and marks on the bottom of the I and made the Y and the J to pronounce the different sounds of it. That's where that came from. And it's like 600 BC, Latin. Unfiltered Dead Sea Scrolls. Dead Sea Scrolls, man, if it's in the Dead Sea Scrolls, you just need to go to the bank and get a loan on it right there.
How did they find the book of Enoch?
Way to do it.
How did they find the book of Enoch?
They found the book of Enoch whenever some dude lost one of his lambs or something like that and walked into a cave, and he went to go throw a rock to see if he could get the lamb to come out, and he heard a piece of pottery break, and he went in and they sold some of these scrolls, and the kids come and sold them to these people and these dealers. And when they found out, they ended up excavating these caves. They found like 100 caves and thousands of pieces and parts of scrolls, and this was in 1941, right after 1947 or something, right after the Second World War. So, right after the big nuclear explosion in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and in a bright light, and then all of a sudden it says, Daniel 12:9, go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed until the time of the end. And right there after the Second World War, man, they found all these scrolls, and they read exactly like the Old Testament books of the Bible. And right there on top of it was Jubilees and the book of Enoch. Enoch 1 was right there in the Dead Sea Scrolls. So they're real. And they read word for word exactly the way they do. My wife is helping me with the questions, and I really do like this. Why are some of the books that you talk about in Catholic Bibles? The Catholic people put like the Maccabees and some of those things in their big old Bible, their big old Catholic Bibles. I got one. One of them Bibles. I got one ready. Yes. The big Catholic Bible. My dog bit that thing. You believe that? That little sweetheart Arlo? He ate that right there. Down there when he was a puppy.
What? You didn't show me that.
He ate that while sitting down there. I thought he was being quiet. He ate my daggone Bible.
He would have been in timeout for that.
He's going to go into timeout for that. He ain't never done nothing wrong to him. And this Bible, I don't know. I'm not big bananas about it. It's got the book of Maccabees and a lot of the Apocrypha in these Bibles. But this is why this thing weighs 12 pounds, man. And this is why they cut a bunch of those books out. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I could have thought of a bunch better books to cut out of it, like the Song of Solomon when he's talking about, that's just, no. As a matter of fact, all of those things with Solomon and all, I think you could have just deleted that. I would have rather had Maccabees in there than the Song of Solomon all day. Why are some of the books that you talk about in the Catholic Bible? I just read that question. So I hope that I've answered some of y'all's questions. I do want to go live a couple of times a week. Me and my wife are going to Washington, D.C. this weekend. We are going to go, and we're going to go live because I want to take y'all there. You know that I'm going to be trumpeting out super, super big. My wife's going to get on with me, aren't you?
I said I would say hi this week.
You did say you were going to say hi this week.
I had a rough day, but I'm here.
You did. Let me get the microphone up point, Shadow. She did have a rough day. You take care of some mamas, and we really do appreciate that because I tell you what, it's a full-time job, boy. I mean, to tell you, I think that's one of the hardest commandments, ain't it? Honor thy mother and thy father. I mean, we don't want to like hit each other, covet things, steal things, all that stuff. Just easily coasting through about 9 of those commandments, and then we get right there to that mother and father thing. And I don't know, when my mama calls on the phone, I start talking in Chinese like right in a minute.
If anybody knows any tips or any training with dementia, I have 2 of them with dementia, and it's not an easy thing.
88 years old is mine. How old is yours?
87 today.
87 today. And mine is 88. And bless her heart, she's a sweetheart. But she'll call you 5-6 times a day just and tell you the same thing over and over again. And she used to get on to me for that.
He did. I wanted to talk about subscriptions. We don't want to make this a subscription only thing. We're trying not to, as long as the comments stay good. And I think, even tonight we had a little bit of stuff, but not too much. We don't like to block anybody. I'll mute someone, but we want, even if you don't disagree or whatever, we don't want to block you because we don't want to block you from what you could be hearing. So if you get blocked, it must have been pretty serious. But you can get muted during the live if you're being argumentative or
was that going
distracting. A little bit tonight. That's okay.
There's a lot of stuff with that, man. I get it. Some people, they want to, it's not my opinions. My wife is responsible for making me print the scripture and put it behind me. She's the one that started all that. She goes, if you can't justify it with the Bible, then...
He wants that. He wants to be part of it.
And if you can't justify that on the Bible, he went right to licking my ear. She said, then don't put it up there. So I can assure you that I back everything up in the Bible and I let you read it. So that whole preacher approach to it, man, I put that up there because I wanted to hear some of the scriptures.
Thank you, Mandy.
And I appreciate that. I don't mean to ruffle any feathers. I hope by reading those things about the 3 books, it'll...
You guys can request me, the ones giving me advice, and send me messages.
Absolutely. She's good at answering questions.
Dementia's hard. It's a hard thing. So if anybody has any experience with it, it'd be appreciated because you don't get any lessons in that.
We do need it.
I have to just keep reading my Bible.
Well, these people will be able to help you, and they've been such a big help through this whole thing. And,
Thank you,
just
Beth,
dealing
for
with parents.
We're doing the subscribe to try to, he's going to have some different things go on. We're working on all of this, of course. We don't want to not let people hear this, but if we do subscribe only comments, it's going to be because it could be for only subscribers only to comment, but you can still watch it.
We did that the first time, didn't we?
Yeah, so that could happen. The gifting and things of that nature, that is not important necessarily, but it is important in order for this live to be put on the FYP. And I don't understand all of that, but I have somebody who's teaching me. And you already know we don't make all of the gifting. It goes to somebody else. So it's not about that. It's about getting us on the FYP. We want to get him on the FYP so that more people can see this and we can try to reach more people, because that's what his goal is anyway, is that. And anything you do gift, we try to gift back to people who need it, subscriptions and what have you. You can inbox me if you can afford a subscription.
I do whatever she says. I do.
I'll get you one. For the sincere ones that really want to learn, for sure.
I love y'all so much, and thank y'all so much for joining. We both do, and my wife is just my right arm with this whole thing. I didn't even see the people arguing.
It wasn't like that. It was okay.
Oh, okay, good. I'm not able to pay attention to those things. I have whatever it's called where you can't look at 2 things like that. So 1948, Israel is born a nation. Yeah, that's right. When they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, and Israel means struggles with God. So here we go. Here we go. It's cool when you put all those things together. When you're like going, hey, the World War, nuclear explosion, blinding light, there was something related almost to the transfiguration and that blinding light. But and then they find this word and go thy way, Daniel, until the words are closed up and sealed until the time of the end. Just a amazing story.
Well, people are saying nice things. Thank you.
Well, I want to say thank you so much for all the gifts and thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I just don't want people to think he does this for the money. The money would be nice if he could do this for full time, but we really want to get the word out there. And when you see all this roses and gifting and things on the screen or him, I'm going to try to get him not to talk about it, and I'll try to do it through the comments. But it's for other purposes.
We try to get to 50 to give to that. You can give them away after 50.
Right, subscription. So we do those things for those reasons. Oh, I got a cat.
You did. You got one. I love it. And you know what? If you ever want me to talk to somebody, or you say, "Hey, man, I want you to call my mom in the hospital," I'd rather call your mama than mine anyway. Oh. And I would. You call me, okay? You get in touch with me. You go through Gigi or whatever, and I will call and I will FaceTime you. You can ask some of the people out there. I'd love to do it. I really would. Me and Arlo, we'll get over there and talk. So we love you. I tell you all the time, thank you that my family loves you. It's true, isn't it?
It's true.
We love you. And me and all my grandchildren and all of my kids, they probably, what are they, 30 years old?
Our kids.
Yeah. We got kids 30 years old. Wow, I'm old as Moses. I love y'all so much. We'll see y'all next Wednesday. I'm going to come on sometime during the weekend while we're in Washington, D.C., and we're just going to enjoy that Bible museum. I'm going to take y'all in there with me. I'll tell you when, and I love y'all. Have a blessed day.